Hello and welcome to episode 68 of Your Ultimate Comeback. I'm here with Raquel, my co-host. I'm Brad Davidson, excited to be with you. We're coming to you remotely today.
I was going to say you're not with me. Don't lie to the people.
I am with you via FaceTime.
That is true. That is correct. That is correct.
Yeah.
How you doing, Brad?
Oh, doing good. Can't complain.
No.
Yeah. So we're on a different day. Our schedules are a little off with sports seasons rolling.
Yep.
But doing good. I
Cool.
wish it was our normal Friday because normally we record the podcast and then
then you're done. Then you're done.
It's a tease. I got to go back to work tomorrow morning. I got a football practice tonight and clients tomorrow. Usually it's just a nice mellow evening.
Yeah, I get that. I know it is kind of a nice way to dot the I and cross the T right at the end.
I know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
That's all right. I'll survive. I will survive.
Yes. I
have
faith in you.
I'll figure it out. Your daughter's playing volleyball this week, right?
Yep. We're going up to UCLA for her. She plays UCLA and Long Beach State tomorrow, and then on Saturday she plays LMU and Concordia.
Nice.
So we're not traveling far, but it's of course right when we typically do our streaming. Yeah. So we're making the best of it, and I like it.
Right, good.
We're just showing how flexible we are.
Flexible is good. Yes.
How we can pivot.
Thank goodness for technology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So is that Brennan behind you on your wall?
It is. Yeah.
I love it.
So I bought that picture for the weight room, but I ordered a poster size versus like an 8x10 picture size. And when it came in, I'm like, what the heck am I going to do with this? So I just hung it up. That's when he won last year. That's his approach shot into 18 at the big event they have in Australia last year that he won.
Nice.
There's like hundreds of thousands of people behind him. It's crazy.
It looks like a big crowd.
Yeah, he said that was the most stressful shot he's ever had in his life because on the PGA they don't let people behind you like that.
Right.
So it was a completely different experience for him.
I bet. You have to have tunnel vision for a moment like that.
Yeah,
right?
He stuck it. He put the ball like 2 feet from the pin. It was beautiful.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So
Cool deal.
Yeah. So had nowhere else to put it, so I just slapped it up there on the wall.
It looks good.
Well, I used to have all my signed jerseys and stuff up on the wall back there in this office, but I took those to the gym. So
yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's a good picture. So what's new in your world? Anything come up this week you're thinking about?
Well, you trained me. Well, I had 3 training sessions this week, which is I realize now why I don't do as many because it's a little different. Yeah, it's funny how sneaky those workouts are.
Yeah.
They seem like in theory, this is, not that big of a deal. I'm doing a few exercises and, with a different tempo, yes. With heavier weight, yes. It's just they're very sneaky. That is the word that I would use to describe the workouts.
I'm glad to bring that up because this came up a few times this week of people are very confused around what's a hard workout. And
it's different than on Instagram. Let's just say that.
Yeah, everyone thinks, everyone confuses effort for intensity, if that makes sense.
For sure.
So if people are not used to like getting the heart rate up super high and sweating like crazy and like feeling like they're going to throw up, like it's not a good workout.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest transitions we have with people that come to the weight room and they start lifting weights for the first time. We're challenging the muscular system, not the cardiovascular system, with weightlifting.
Mm-hmm.
And so the stress response you're trying to create is much different. You actually need recovery between sets for repeated exposure so the muscles can really be pushed to the edge of challenging themselves. If you bring a lot of cardiovascular activity into that, your oxygen levels run low and it impacts your ability for your muscles to do what they need to do. Not because the muscles are tired, because the cardiovascular system and the ability to get blood flow to the muscle is hampered.
Yes.
So reality is the way you train your muscles, which is what we're trying to do with weightlifting, is very different than how you train cardiovascularly. So you got to challenge the muscle, let it rest and recover. Challenge it again, let it rest and recover, versus smoking yourself from an anaerobic conditioning standpoint. So people very often mistake effort for intensity, and intensity is what we're really going after if you really want to change how your body looks. Effort is hard.
Yeah.
It's more stressful. It drives more stress hormone, but it's not as impactful on making your body look better, feel better. It's very impactful in the very beginning if someone wants to lose some weight. you go and do high intensity work for the first 3 weeks or so, you'll lose some weight. But what you typically see is people that do all these high intensity workouts like that is they'll lose some weight in the beginning and they kind of get hooked, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. And then it stalls out or it starts to go backwards. And the only answer is do more, go harder, make it more aggressive. And really, it doesn't have to be like that. I always share a story of a gentleman I was training. I was training for 6 months, just like this, just like I'm training you. And one day this guy comes up and he just finished this class. He was dripping sweat, like huffing and puffing. He looks at my client. He's like, man, you're not working anywhere near hard enough. And my client is like taken back. He goes, I'm just kind of doing what Brad says to do. He goes, I thought it was working. I was like, man, you're not even really sweating. And I looked at the guy. I said, okay, hey, time out. I got a question for you. Here's what my client looked like 6 months ago. He'd lost 35 pounds at that point. I said, what did you look like 6 months ago? And the guy was like, I said, no, I'm serious. What did you look like 6 months ago to show how great the results are from all this effort you're putting in if you're going to come over here and talk shit to my client?
Right.
Because here's the results he's getting. So I'd love to see the results your effort are getting. He's like, never mind. And he just walked away because he knew, because I've been watching him for the whole time, he hadn't changed at all. And if anything, he began to look a little worse.
Yeah.
He was just obsessed with the work hard but ineffective versus work effective.
Yes.
And so often it's not as hard.
Right.
Right. So, but to train with intensity like we do with you, it's a different kind of hard. It's a fatigue hard.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Your appetite goes up a little bit. You're a little more tired. You kind of need a nap.
Yes.
So we're challenging the muscular system, the nervous system, not so much the cardiovascular system. So it doesn't feel as hard, but it's actually very, very challenging in a very different way.
Right. Right.
So I challenge people that are getting into the weightlifting thing. It's like, you're not looking for the same feeling and effect of your high intensity workouts.
Yes.
It's a different feeling. It's a like muscle tightness, muscle weakness, muscle soreness kind of thing. So as you're training, it's harder and harder to lift the weight that you're challenging the muscle. And you should need a good amount of rest in between sets. And you should take that.
Yes.
So your repeated exposure is giving them really challenging the muscular system versus just worrying about the cardiovascular system.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because that came up twice this week with people like, I'm not working hard enough.
Yeah.
Or I'm afraid to do this because I'm gonna lose my fitness if I start lifting weights. Like, that is so not true. Like in reality, what the common thing I hear from our people at the weight room is, I can't believe how I'm training so different, but I can still go back and do all the high intensity stuff just fine. When I first came over here,
absolutely,
I couldn't do these workouts. They were so hard, but now I can do these really well, and I'm actually better at those. It's we're developing the body intelligently, not just trying to make you feel like you did something really hard.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's a hard understanding for people to grasp. So like, no, we're challenging the whole system. You're developing the whole system really well. We're making the muscles more efficient at doing work. It just feels different than lots of effort.
Yeah. I probably haven't taken a spin class in 18 months to maybe even 2 years. I don't know, at least 18 months. I've been curious, not because I'm dying to go back to spinning, but I wonder how I would do.
Yeah, I don't think you would be shocked how easy it was for you, because I've done a few spin classes and I don't do them.
Yeah.
They've always been really easy to me.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like what I
could understand. Stuff?
Well, yeah, from a rhythmic standpoint or whatever, yeah, pretty much.
You look awesome.
Polar opposite of that.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
I do not know how to dance on a bike.
Yeah, I know,
and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But from a fitness standpoint, they've never been very challenging for me.
Yeah.
So I always kind of understood, like, I never really understood, like, why does everyone think this is so hard? And I've taken a bunch of different spin classes.
Sure.
Because people always tell me, like, oh, it's the greatest conditioning workout ever. And it's like, I don't find that. But that's just me personally. And I'm not, anybody that knows me knows I'm not a cardio guy.
Yeah.
You go out and make me run 2 miles, it's ugly as hell. That one gets me. But
you're a sprinter, not a distance guy.
Yeah, for some reason I've never found the spin class to be hard. And everyone's like, oh, it's because you haven't taken this spin class. I'm like,
no, I'm sure.
Okay. I've done 4 different ones, and all of them I was shocked. I was surprised how easy they were.
Right.
I did like kind of like the crazy synchronization of music and lights and motivation. Is like, I was super uplifted by the end of it, ready to go take on the world. But I didn't find it very hard.
I got you.
And not to disrespect spin in general. I just The way we train makes spin very easy.
Okay, that'd be interesting. Maybe I should do that experiment just to see. I'd be curious.
Well, think of how we train your legs, right?
Yeah.
They're under large loads of tension or large loads of volume. Sorry, large loads for long periods of tension.
Yeah.
So they're very well conditioned. So it doesn't really matter what, you can't put that same kind of tension on your legs from a bike. So it's not really ever going to maximally challenge you like you are in the weight room.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's kind of probably what it is.
Okay.
Is the way we challenge the lower extremities is much more challenging than a bike. It just is not including the massive heart rate spikes that you're getting in a spin class.
Right. Definitely.
But your legs become very efficient at buffering lactic acid buildup, which is where most people get smoked in a spin class. They don't have that ability to buffer the lactic acid I would actually like you to go do one and just.
Maybe I should. It'd be a good experiment. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
Be a good experiment.
I believe with how I've trained you that you'll be surprised at how easy it is.
Yeah.
That you will not have lost, you won't have lost anything. If anything, you'll be more efficient and better at it.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah.
I'll have to do that and report back.
Yeah.
Not right now. I'm good for the week. I actually have a couple of days off of teaching and training since I'm going to see Quinn play. And I'm really looking forward to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Hey, I'm 3 weeks in. So Garrett Bowles, my guy that plays for the Denver Broncos, when he comes into town, he likes me to train with him in the off season. Now, this guy is, I think, 30 or 31 years old, so he's a lot younger than me.
Yes.
He weighs 160 pounds more than I do. He's 6'6", 330 right now.
He is a big fella.
Yeah. I survived the first 3 weeks.
He gives you a hug and you feel tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's fun. It's fun to be my age and to be able to keep up with him and do those workouts. Like, he's much stronger than I am. Obviously, he should be at 330 pounds. But something I love about how we train is that we can go do that kind of hard stuff even with someone 20 years younger than us.
Yeah. So do you look at the workouts and say, oh, we'll pass on that one because you're doing it too?
No, no. And that's the hard, this first phase I put him in is called the structural balance phase, my least favorite. Because it's challenging all the weak links of the body. And I build it for him specifically.
Right.
But there are a few things he deals with as weak links that are also my weak links. Like my hamstrings.
Mine too.
Yeah. So no, I don't do that.
You don't skip over things.
He's worth too much. His body's too valuable in his role in his job.
No, I meant you personally.
Oh, he won't let me. He won't let me.
No, I know you're not making him skip over things.
No,
you.
No, he won't let me.
Okay,
good. He will call me out if I'm not lifting heavy enough, or if I'm trying to skip out on something.
I love it. He's keeping you honest.
Yeah, and he calls me out in front of people. It's hilarious.
Perfect.
Yeah. Oh, is that all you're gonna do? God,
that's good for you. That's good for you.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I don't know why he likes me to train with him, but
well, it's nice sometimes to have a buddy. You know?
Yeah. And in 2020, during COVID, we ended up training in my buddy's barn for like 6 months, just him and I every day. That was our only kind of like other human action outside of our families.
Sure.
And it was so fun. We got so strong, and he had his best year ever in the NFL. So I think, that's when he was an all pro that year. So it kind of correlates to that was a game changer for him. So he likes when I jump in.
Yeah.
But
makes sense.
I like being 49 and being able to hang and do those workouts.
For sure.
Most guys my age couldn't hang and do that stuff.
I'm sure.
So
I'm sure.
Yeah, but we'll see. I'm only 3 weeks in.
Exactly. We'll check in with you later on that.
Yeah. Starting next week, it's a whole lot worse, but it'll be good.
I like it.
Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit too. This has come up a little bit recently. Is creatine?
Yes. I was asking you about it.
Yeah, you're asking me about it. Brendan Steele, my guy who plays on the Live Golf, the guy back here, was just asking me about it because it's really big in golf right now. I guess Phil Mickelson, his buddies, all into it, and so he's asking me a lot of questions around it and what I thought about it. And it's interesting why they are using it is the cognition benefit, meaning it's good for your brain. It's also really good for your muscle. But I've also had a lot of women this week kind of panicking because they're getting into it, but they feel, you brought this up too, they feel puffy. one thing that creatine does do is it fills your muscles up with more water. It's not causing water retention or puffiness, meaning that it's not under the skin, it's actually in the muscle, so the muscles are bigger. But when your muscle cells are bigger, your muscle is going to be a little more filled in, so it's going to feel like you're a little bigger.
Right.
That's a big panic point for a lot of people.
Yes.
But the thing you just got to remind yourself of, this isn't a bad thing. If you stop it, it'll go away.
Mm-hmm.
But also, will the added strength benefit, the added cognition benefit, like all the benefits go away with it as well.
Right.
So I don't have that. I'm not worried about it. I'm not paying so much attention to my body that if my quad is half an inch bigger, I panic.
Well, you're a guy. Guys don't panic about that. It's a good thing.
That's what I'm saying is I don't understand it, so I don't really have a way to work around it. You can't avoid it. If you want the benefits of the muscular benefit, the strength benefit, the endurance benefit, the cognition benefit,
right?
Your weight's going to go up a couple pounds because you're going to hold more water in the cell. You're not fatter. This is the thing that drives me nuts. Is scale goes up for a good reason, meaning your muscles are holding more water so they can function better. That is a really good thing. But because the scale went up, people panic and think this is a bad thing.
Right.
Or because the muscle's now a little bigger, that's a bad thing.
Yes.
It's a really good thing, but I think we've really been brainwashed over the years. Like what that scale says I'm either skinny or fat.
Right.
It does not dictate if it's muscle, if it's fat, if it's water. It doesn't dictate any of that.
Right.
But I just want to kind of share, like, you are not getting more fat. Yes, your scale is going to be up a couple pounds because you're holding more water in the muscle cell, which allows it to function better. It also optimizes your brain. So when you see that or you feel that, you just got to start telling yourself, this is a good thing. Like, I am optimizing myself. This is a good thing. I still call the scale the abusive boyfriend.
Oh, for sure. Sure.
It is. I can't tell you how many times I've had a female client start looking better, like visibly looking better. But because she's putting on a little muscle mass, 5 pounds of muscles like this versus 5 pounds of fats like this, they're changing and looking better, but that dang scale says weight's going up.
Right.
Panic and hit the eject button. It's not giving you the true picture of what's going on.
I will be the first to say that I am one of those people. We all, by we, I mean women, have this number in our head that we have decided, give or take a pound or two, is where we want to be.
Yeah.
And you're right. That's the only reason I haven't tried creatine, honestly, because I don't want to mess with my head. That's all.
Let me ask you, like, let's say your, I'm just going to make it easy. Let's say your number is 120.
Okay.
And you come in and weigh 122. What does that mean?
That I'm fat? No.
Okay. That's what I think.
It doesn't, honestly. But what it is I've always had sort of a window from, actually, it is 120 to about 123 that I'm okay with. And when I say okay with, that's air quotes, weirdness, all the weird, internal voices.
Yeah.
When it starts to pass 124, 120, then I go, ooh, gosh, I better dial it back in. So it's kind of, I didn't weigh myself for a very long time because of this reason, because I thought, I know how I'm feeling. I know how I'm doing. I know if my clothes fit or not.
Yeah.
And then after doing the reset, I just for fun got into the once a week weighing. And I know you've said that's not even great because it's better to do it 7 days and then make an average.
Yeah.
But I just, for whatever, I do once a week, just to kind of gauge where I'm at. Does it go up and down a little bit? It sure does. Can I tell what it's from? Not exactly. It's a weird thing. A lot of women have a pair of pants, jeans from college, or a dress that they wore at this event, or that they may never ever get back to, but they keep it thinking that they will. Or if I can fit in these jeans, life is good. If I'm having to wear the fat jeans, this isn't good. We play all sorts of weird games as females. Trust me, we really do. And most men will never understand that. It's just societally we're expected to look a certain way. Factor in being in the industry of having people look at you in front of a class or leading a class or whatever it is. It's another layer.
Yeah.
Is all. I'm not proud of that. It's something that I really, really wish I didn't care about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a very common thing to care about. It's hard for me to understand what it all means. Because I ask, like, what does that mean?
Right. And, can't really answer.
They can't really answer.
I know.
They'll start to say, it means I'm fat. Well, but I realize I'm not.
Yeah.
But it means I'm bigger. Well, how do you know? Well, because the scale numbers are, but your measurements are smaller, so you're actually smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but no, and they know. I feel for it because I think there's been so much obsession around it and like focus around this is what matters. And I believe, I know that the scale is the worst key performance indicator of success.
I agree with you.
Another thing I'm dealing with too is like a lot of women like really want to work their butts and get their butts bigger.
And you know what's so funny? Years ago, I wanted a skinny little butt.
Yeah.
So it's just because it's in style right now.
Here's the funny thing with that is that when you do that, your jeans are going to fit different. Your pants are going to fit different.
Yes.
That also triggers a panic response. Oh my God, my pants don't fit. But that's what you wanted. Right. Well, no. I didn't want that. I'm like, you want your butt bigger, but you want to be able to wear your skinny jeans.
But they want a 22-inch waist at the same time, Brad. That's
but still the pants are going to be tighter because the butt's higher. It's a really interesting mindset of like.
You mean mind fuck?
Mind fuck. Yeah, I want this.
Yes.
But I don't want I don't want. It's like, okay. It's like, well.
It piggybacks off of the. I don't want to lift heavy weights because I'm going to get big.
Yeah.
It's all of these weird little things that we women have told ourselves, or maybe, I don't know, what we deem to be beautiful.
No, the industry has told you that.
Okay, probably so.
Because for example, guess what the easiest thing to manipulate is if I'm trying to change someone?
The weight.
The scale. Yeah. I can change scale drastically.
Right.
I won't do it. I won't do it because it's super damaging, but I can shift scale weight by like 15 pounds in a week. It doesn't mean that I'm really good at my job. It means that I understand how to manipulate the body and water.
Right.
It's the easiest thing to manipulate. So these things that cause people to lose like 10 or 15 pounds in like a month, it's because it's really easy to manipulate that. It's not doing anything wonderful for someone. It's just causing body water to shift and move around.
Well, it makes me think of people that do juice cleanses and go, "Oh, look at me! I've lost 7 pounds."
Yeah, no, I mean, the average person carries like 7 pounds of food in their intestinal tract at all times. Like that just went away, and as soon as you start eating, it's going to come back.
Right.
But the industry, everything is built around lose 20 pounds is like this, or lose 10 pounds like this. It's like they do that because it's very easy to manipulate that, and then it gets people to buy things.
Yeah.
The problem is the backlash when you do that. Okay, yeah, you can go do a water fast for 3 days and you'll probably lose 6 to 8 pounds because it's water weight and the food in your intestines. It doesn't mean that like that was a marvelous fat loss protocol. It means it just got rid of everything in your system, and as soon as you start eating, it's going to come back. Now, I think water fasting has some very positive benefits to it, but everyone focuses on the weight loss. But the problem with that is that is the easiest thing to manipulate and change.
Yeah.
So that's why the industry is so focused and hyper-focused on just pounding on you guys. The scale matters. The scale matters.
Yeah.
Woo, just lost 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Because it's super easy to manipulate.
Right.
But it's always been a struggle of mine because I won't ever promote like weight loss because I actually don't want my people to experience weight loss. I want my people to experience body composition change. So I want body fat to come down and muscle mass to go up.
Sure.
Because that means we're replacing, something big with something that's smaller and more dense. Mm-hmm. So I always try to keep the scale to stay as close as possible as I'm changing someone because I know what's happening at that point is very positive and going to be something we can maintain long term and work off of.
Yeah.
That's why I like doing measurements, or ultimate is a DEXA scan if you can do that, but to be able to show the change of, I lost this much fat, put on this much muscle, or my scale's not changing, but my waist has come down 3 inches.
Right.
Like that's some beautiful stuff right there. Mm-hmm. So I really try to harp on people, like do a DEXA scan once every 3 to 6 months, take your measurements every month. Like that is way more valuable than just checking your scale weight.
Right.
Because we know, for example, if your weight is going down, but your waist measurement is not changing, you're losing muscle mass and getting fatter.
Yeah.
We also know that if your weight is not changing, but your waist is going down, we know you're losing body fat, putting on muscle. That's a positive net effect.
Mm-hmm.
We know, we know if your weight is going down drastically and your measurement's going down drastically, like we see with people on Ozempic, you're losing muscle mass and fat, probably more muscle mass.
Yeah.
So that's why measurements tell us a lot more than, and a DEXA scan is the greatest thing for that because it's super, it's the gold standard of body composition.
Where does one do that?
I go to, I think it's called like DexaFit OC or OC DexaFit.
Okay.
If you just type in, if you Google an Orange County DexaFit or a DEXA scan Orange County, it'll pop up. It's right over by John Wayne Airport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was talking to Gino at Beyond Wellness. I think he's going to be getting one in pretty soon as well.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, you can't hide from that thing. That's what's great about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people all the time, you got to be very careful of what are those body comp machines like you hold in, like InBodies?
Yes.
There's different versions of this.
Yeah.
We have one at our gym. And what I hate is that people get so attached to what these things say as success or failure.
Yeah.
So on purpose, I started tracking my body composition on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And would you believe it that in 1 week, I put on 9% body fat in 1 week. In 1 week, I went up 9% body fat. I lost weight, went up 9% body fat, and it tells me my body fat is 25%.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. I do a DEXA scan periodically. My DEXA scan, the worst my DEXA scan has been in the last year has been 11.8%. So I'm probably on that end of it right now because I didn't train a lot before Garrett came into town. But that is how off these things are. You cannot put on 9% body fat in 1 week. Yeah. It's physiologically impossible. But this machine is just like so all over the place.
Right.
So, and yeah. So I tell people like the two standards are a DEXA scan. Bod Pod's pretty good, but DEXA scan for sure if you're going to get body composition. And then just take your measurements. Yeah. But make sure you take your measurements. Like if you're going to take your measurement around your waist, always do it at the belly button so you have a marker. Mm-hmm. So I like to go like belly button. I like to go 6 inches above the kneecap on the thigh. Mm. I like to go 4 inches above the elbow on the tricep around the arm. Okay. Right along the nipple line if you want to do your chest. If you're going to do the hips, just feel on your hips. There's a bony area called the greater toe canter. Mm-hmm. Do your hips at that point. So you're always measuring at the same point versus guessing. Which you guys do at the weight room. Yeah. If people want to track their measurements, we will take them. Yeah. Which is a good thing, I think. Yeah. I don't force people. We don't force people to take them because some people just don't want to know. And I'm fine with that. Yeah. Right. Other people, like it's really important to them to see change. So we'll track it. And it's really fun to have someone come in and be like skeptical on lifting weights. And I'm afraid I'm going to get big. I'm afraid of these things. And then all of a sudden it's just, oh, wow. Tamber is a perfect example. She's killing it. Is she? Good for her. Yeah. She was she was, I finally found something that worked. And, yeah. So it's cool. Like you can even see it on her. Yeah. Yeah. But so that's if someone wants to track when they come to our gym, that's how we track it. Is measurement change because we know what that means. Perfect. Yeah. So creatine and measurements are your takeaways. And trust the process. The process when it comes to lifting weights. Yeah. Get away from the need to feel max effort, like I'm killing myself. Mm-hmm. Right? Lifting weights, that is not the feeling. It should be a set, a rest. You should feel your muscles struggling and being challenged, not your cardiovascular system when you're lifting weights. Right. Yeah. I don't think I have any problem with that. I love weight training and I'm all in on this type and this methodology. But, there's still some little bits, like I said, that we as women fight against so much of that, the voices in our head that are telling us this, that, or the other thing. And I actually do know that postmenopausal body is different. Yeah. It just is. And I have a hard time with that. I have a hard time I don't like it. Can I tell you something really funny? Go ahead. There's these 2 guys, very sciencey based guys. Mm-hmm. I just came across this post where they basically said what you just said is bullshit.
Really?
Yeah.
And what's my problem? What am I not doing?
What they said is that you're just being lazy, not moving as much, or eating more than you used to. That's all it comes down to. This whole thing around menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, hormonal change. Yeah. Science says it's all bullshit. I'm like, I witness it every day.
No.
I am in a world of people that work their asses off. Like literally work their asses off. Like hardly eat, train like crazy, and I watch it happen all the time.
Right.
So that's just a whole nother example of, I don't care what your science says. I'm in the trenches with women like this day in and day out, and it is a dogfight.
Yes.
And not a single one of these women I'm in the trenches with are lazy.
No.
They are working their asses off.
And I'd like to think, well, as for me, I'm doing the things. The only thing that I could probably improve upon is stress reduction.
Yeah. But they say that doesn't matter.
Oh, I say it does.
Oh, 100% it does. I know it does. I see it all the time.
Oh, these guys, these two.
All they say the issue is that you're not moving as much as you used to, and you're eating more than you used to. It all it comes down to is that. I'm like, that is such bullshit. Like, I'm in the trenches every day.
How old are these guys?
I don't know.
Yeah.
The thing I see in the science realm is that there are the sciencey people that I'm not bad. Like, I don't know. I disagree with a lot of the stuff they do, but they never work with people.
Right.
So they're just reading the research and the literature.
It should look like this.
But they're never in the trenches working with people. So they don't see what people in the trenches see.
Yeah.
It's like, you can tell me that till you're blue in the face and show me every piece of research you have. I don't care. I'm not going to believe you because I watch it happen monthly with people. All the time. So, I'll use, oh my gosh, who's a good example of this? I'm blanking on the name. Anyways, it was somebody that I met a couple years ago and was having all these issues, and she asked what she should do, and I said, you should back off, you should start lifting more, you should start, meditating, things like that. She's like, oh, no, that's not the answer. I got to keep working hard.
Oh.
For 2 more years, cranking it out, crazy workouts, starving herself, and finally gives up because it just got so bad. And then came to this system where she lifts weights, she backed off on her exercise, started focusing on her rest and relaxation, started eating more food.
Is this Stacy?
Thank you, Stacy Bochum. Yeah, it worked magically.
Yeah.
Beecham.
Yeah.
She's killing it. She's like, God, I wish I would have listened to you 2 years ago. It's like, there's a perfect example of, I don't care what your science says. I just witnessed with someone busting their ass, fully committed, doing everything they're supposed to do to the nth degree, and it not working. All that happened was body fat went up, didn't go down, didn't go away, and just wiped herself out. And now she's killing it.
Yeah, that's great.
But probably working out half as much. So it's polar opposite of what they said should happen.
Right.
Because she's only working out 2 or 3 times a week, walking every day, and eating more. And she's killing it. Yeah. So, I don't know. I just think it's funny how I came across my feed on Instagram. Of basically, though, what those guys said is I'm an effing idiot. I'm just trying to sell you guys something.
Right.
That's all it is I'm just fluffing you and trying to sell you something. It's like, yeah, I am trying to sell something, but I'm selling what I've seen work.
Well, like you always say, it takes a while sometimes for people to come to this, over to this side. They have to be so desperate, so tired, so ready to make a change because what they've been doing isn't working. And I'm here to tell you, I was just having this conversation last night with some friends. We went out, celebrated a birthday, and everybody was eating crappy food just because that's what you do at a bowling alley. We were bowling. And was I judging those people for that? Absolutely not. But I wasn't having any. Was it because I am morally superior? Absolutely not. It was because I know how crappy I will feel if I eat that stuff. That's number one. That's the second thing is when that's not what I'm craving. You know what I mean? It's not me saying, oh, I'm better than you because I'm not having it. It's just, I don't crave that yucky. If I'm going to have pizza, it's going to be good pizza. Not a bowling alley. You know what I mean? And again, not trying to be I'm better than you, but just I don't want to feel crappy. And I think and the comment I made to them because someone said to me of the group, "Oh, you're not having any of this. You're so good." And it's not a matter of being good. It's just a matter of I just am not choosing to. You know, and I said that every year past menopause, things get harder and harder. I remember at 55, I'm like, okay, I got this. This isn't too bad. 56, 57, 58, 59, now 60. It gets harder, Brad. It is not easier. And even doing all these things that you talk about and putting the things in place and, getting the correct amount of sleep and rest and all that, it's still really hard. Harder than it's ever been.
Well, I mean, aging is happening.
Yes.
Right? You can't stop that.
No.
You can slow it,
and
but
it's
you
a
can't
privilege.
stop
It's
it.
a privilege. I keep telling myself it's a privilege.
Yeah. But you're fighting it in a beautiful way. Like you're not like, you're fighting it. You can't reverse it. You're never going to beat it.
No, I don't want to Benjamin. Well, I do want to Benjamin Button it. Maybe I don't know where you revert, but it's just, and I've said it to so many times, but it's living where we live.
Yeah.
It's such a focus of being, what you used to be or how, it's just challenging. And what I've chosen to do, which I love so much, is be an instructor. People are looking at you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't get to hide in the back.
Well, yeah. And you can't find a more judgmental place on physical features than here. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it was just an interesting thing being in that environment where I was just choosing not because I was trying to I actually was trying to be very discreet about but that's hard to do. It's just like drinking, right? If you're not drinking, why aren't you drinking? I mean, by now people know that I don't, I think, but it's just same kind of weird thing.
Yeah.
Right. You just know you're going to feel crappy.
Well, it was funny in the roles when you can't win either way, because if you have the food, you're like, oh, you're a health person.
Yeah. Well,
so if you have it, they come down on you. If you
that would be absolutely. That's really funny you say that, because I've had that happen before too. Oh, really? You're going to eat that?
Yeah, I've tried it both ways.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, either way, you and I lose.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I thought you were a health person. Or, like, then you're better than us. Like, oh my gosh.
No, that's not it at all.
Yeah, I just don't want it tonight. Or
right.
I want it tonight. I'm going to have it. And I don't
absolutely.
care.
And see, I think that's great. Is we should all have autonomy for that.
Yeah.
And I would never, because I've had so many people say, you let Matt eat circus animal cookies? You let Matt go to 7-Eleven and get, whatever it is, Hostess ding dong. He's my husband. He's not my child. I'm not, you know what I mean? I don't have control. That's so funny to me that people always will make, and I think they say that to him too.
Yeah.
It drives him bonkers. Like, do you really think Raquel is, got a whip behind, you can't do that? No, he's a grown ass man.
Yeah.
It's silly. But you're right. It's both ways. You're either, you eat that, or, I don't know. You can't win for losing.
One really nice thing. We all know that I like
circus
cookies.
Yep.
I'm a Hostess zinger kind of guy, the vanilla zingers.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing: is like
lemon cake from Nothing But Cakes.
Oh, those are really good. I've heard. When you lift weights aggressively, you actually handle all that stuff a whole lot better.
Mm.
So that's another benefit of lifting weights. Is like, you know what? If I wanted to go try that lemon, whatever you're talking about, I could go do it, and I would be fine.
Yeah. Now, what do you mean by that? Be fine? You're not going to feel as bad?
My insulin sensitivity is so good because I've challenged my muscles so well that if I decide to go have that, yes, I'm going to get a blood sugar spike. But guess what? My body can handle it very well.
Gotcha.
Now, I'm sure if I did it every single day, it would be a problem over time. But like, I guarantee you, I do it more than you would think I do it.
I don't doubt that.
My fasting glucose levels are never above 85. Wow. My A1C levels are dialed. I am not fat.
No, you're not.
But like, the thing that I've done really well over the last 20 years of my life is I purposely lift weights consistently.
Yeah.
Because I believe that's the anti-aging game changer.
I agree with you.
And that is the thing, that if you lift weights, you can get away with that stuff with less negative effect.
Right.
It drives people nuts because if you're just a cardio, hound, you can't do that because it doesn't impact muscular sensitivity. You're not as efficient with insulin and blood sugar as if you're someone that lifts a lot of weights. I really believe that, and science supports it.
Right.
That lifting weights is one of the best ways to optimize blood sugar stabilization. So when my blood sugar goes up, there's lots of room and desire and a soaking up effect into my muscle cell, not my fat cell, because of how I train.
Yeah.
So I don't feel bad when I want to stop.
Yeah.
I won't lie to you. Picked up my son from school. On the way home, he's like, Dad, can we stop at 7-Eleven for a snack? I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
I grabbed a snack. I grabbed a candy bar, Three Musketeers bar. I don't care. I did. I saw 11 clients straight. Hadn't eaten yet. I was super hungry. I knew I was jumping on this.
There you go.
So I had a Three Musketeers bar.
Okay.
I do that periodically.
Okay.
And, you know,
that's not the one that changes you, though. I thought it was Snickers that you're supposed to grab when you're hungry. Is it not the one?
Oh, yeah. I was just, I needed a little something to get me through this. So,
gotcha. Was it delicious?
Oh, it's phenomenal. But here's the other thing. I do it, and like my blood sugar is so stable. I lifted weights earlier. It didn't have a negative impact on me. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I can handle it.
Right.
And I eat really well outside of I like to snack periodically.
Right.
It helps bring my stress levels down.
Sure.
But I know because of how committed I am to always lifting weights, that's one thing that I can get away with, and it doesn't have a negative. I'm sure there's some negativity to it somewhere. Yeah. Like someone will say oxidative stress. I don't know. Right. Whatever. But like, I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
I sleep well. Yeah. I'm kind of a boring fucking person. Like,
yeah. Amen.
So you know what? I'm gonna have a candy bar every once in a while, or some circus cookies.
Right. Right.
Like, I'm not a bad person or an unhealthy person because of it.
Yeah. No, I think that's real. That's real. And that's the thing. I don't think anybody wants to live, in that little space of I can never have this or never have that. I think what I've always wanted is to find that sweet spot of I'll have what I want to have when I want to have it, and not freak out about it.
Yeah, 100%.
And if tonight's the night that I want to have, I don't know, a full-on giant piece of cake, then cool, whatever. I mean, I think it has nothing to do with are we celebrating, are we not celebrating? It just, I mean, I think it's good that you're like today you said, okay, fine, today's the day. Yeah. Maybe tomorrow isn't.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's good. Well,
and the other thing, I never wanted to impress on my kids that there were good foods and bad foods.
Yes. So true. And important.
And what I did with my kids always was I never said no if they wanted like McDonald's.
Yeah.
But I started to teach them, how are you going to feel after you eat that?
Right.
And I'll use my daughter, for example, because it's been awesome, is that whatever she wanted, I'd let her get.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A? Okay, great. How are you going to feel after that? Oh, probably not great, but I really want it. Okay. And she never wanted to listen to me about nutrition, so I never pushed it on her. She was even vegetarian for like 2 years out of her life. I always supported it.
Yeah.
It was more of a carnivore diet, not a vegetarian diet, but it is what it is. I never pushed it on her. And then her club volleyball coach asked me to come speak to all her club players on nutrition. My daughter heard me speak, and I was like, was that embarrassing? She said, no, it was phenomenal. Like, a lot of what you said made a lot of sense. I think I want to try it. Mm. And now this little girl is so dialed in her nutrition, not because she thinks good foods are bad foods. She's finally correlated, like, oh,
I feel better when I eat this.
I feel better. I play better. Like, there's all the benefits.
Yes.
And then she started realizing, like, okay, if I want, I don't know, Chick-fil-A,
right,
I'm going to have it after my last tournament game when I don't have anything the next day.
Sure.
And to watch her little body morph into like this little like specimen I love it. Like, I'm so proud of her.
Yeah. Good.
But it's always been, and she'd never, I don't even know if my kids, I remember when she was little, she's like, Dad, I found candy that's good for you. It's all made of fruit. And it was Skittles. So I never pushed the good or bad, and I don't view food as good or bad. I view it as, if I want something, I'm gonna have it.
Yeah.
But I like you. I don't typically crave that stuff. Like, I don't want to go eat bar food.
Yeah.
Most of the time, there are times that I want to have it.
Sure.
I would rather have a healthier meal that I feel good after versus a meal that I want to go fall asleep after.
Definitely.
But yeah, my little 2-cent rant there.
I like that. I like it.
Yeah. Well, perfect. Well, I'm going to have to wrap this up. I got football practice coming up.
Okay.
So back at it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining me.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah. Good luck to your daughter over the weekend. Excited for her.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
I'll keep you posted.
Yes, please do.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. See ya.
Okay.
Thanks.